Hello friends I made this for. My name is Lauren. This is my studio. It's a mess. But I wanted to get on here and just do a really quick video about the lovers because it's Gemini season, friendos, and we're gonna talk about it. So, as always, I have three cards. Well, three lovers cards from three different decks. We're going to be looking through the classic Smith-Waite deck, the Mary L. Tarot, and a new one that I got from a thrift store, Fantastical Creatures Tarot by Lissa Hunt and DJ Conway. This one is one I'm still getting to know quite a bit. I've been letting it sit on my altar for a very long time. And I'm realizing it's not an easy deck for me, but I wanted to include it today so I can just start getting into the habit of using it. When I went to the thrift store a few weeks ago, I came across a whole collection of tarot cards. But out of all the decks, I decided on this one because I'd never seen it, and I find that interesting. So I'm going to give a review eventually. Until then, here you are. I like the star. Star's pretty. Anyway, let's get into it. Gemini is represented by the lovers. And of course it is. It makes so much sense. There's so much in the lovers card that is about relation to others, relation to self, relationships. And of course, people like to focus on the love aspect of the lovers. But if I'm being quite frank, and you know I am, the lovers is not entirely all lovey-dovey. And that's just how it goes. So let's get into it. If you're a Gemini, like, comment, subscribe. And if you're not a Gemini, also like, comment, subscribe. If you've never been here before, oh my God, how rude of me not to explain what I do. So I like to talk about astrology through the tarot, giving us something physical that we can ground this wisdom in and help expand our tarot relationship by pulling in some planetary magic. I have a brand new tattoo that it's in the process. It's going to have a bunch of stuff around it and be thicker in line, but I'm really excited. I want sleeves. So thanks for being here on my tattoo journey. Let's get into it. Let's start with the Smith-Waite deck. So here is the most classic depiction, or one of the most classic depictions of the Lovers card. So one thing you'll notice right off the bat, if you were raised in Christianity like I was, we see an almost Adam and Eve sort of figure standing in front of two different trees. This one has the serpent. Oh, excuse me. And then we have Archangel right above with the sun streaming down. So this most classic depiction of the lovers has two folks across from each other. Masc and femme presenting. Also, happy Pride. Love that. Femme and masc presenting. And so one thing that this can help us understand is that there's a certain level of binary here that we are being presented with. So this could be interpreted as two sides of the same coin. It can also be interpreted as two halves of the whole, two ends of the spectrum, the dark, the light, the sun, moon, or inversions of each other. When we see the Lovers card, it's usually a reminder of a few things. How can we observe others the way we view ourselves, and vice versa? What is it about that person that we love that could be part of us? And what is it about that person that we hate that actually is a reflection of what we're insecure about? So those are some main things from the Lovers card. But how does this relate back to Gemini? Well, the good news with Gemini, and it's very hot in my studio. I have a sweaty forehead. The thing about Gemini is Gemini reminds us that the spectrum of experience is balanced by how we interact with those around us and in which way we interact and engage in the world. So Gemini is very much connected to this idea of communication. It's the idea that not always mirroring those around us, but adapting to those around us. Sometimes Gemini gets a bad rap for being a two-face, but really it's that Gemini is adapting to the energy that is around it. And so Gemini is going to be very sensitive to what one person says when they're around that person. But when they're around a different person, that interpretation of feelings might be a little different. So, this card comes as a reminder to take pause. Gemini is probably, to me, my opinion. All of this is my opinion, but this is really strongly my opinion. Gemini is like the coyote. I say that because I grew up in Texas. And in Texas, we have a lot of coyotes in suburban neighborhoods because they can adapt. No matter what's happening to their environment, they know what to do to survive. And that's an energy from the coyote that I really love. Adaptability, able to self-preserve, the ability to just kind of and get what needs to be done. So we see with this card, these two folks, little Miss Thang over here is actually looking at the angel, but this person is looking at them, with the boobs. So what can we take from this? Paying attention to where we're observing can actually be a big part of Gemini season. Seeing where you're looking and recognizing that that observation, that point of view, will influence how you move forward or just the circumstances that you are observing, right? Let's go to the Mary L. Tarot. Here we see some more duality. Duality is a big theme here. We have this older, long-haired looking person with facial hair, kind of curly, and then we have this very voluptuous, might I say, femme figure that is dark-skinned and looking up. Again, this is a change in view. Looking up, just like this one, I mean, and the angel behind them. Is it interesting that the face of the angel looks like a clitoris? I would say so. And I don't think that's not I don't think it's on accident. No. This is intentional. And the reason why I say I feel this way is because we do see intimacy between these two people. But we also can see they're on the precipice. The portal. Passing through the portal. I also love that the angel is like a clitoris in this one because it allows us to remember that pleasure is also part of our relationships. And that doesn't always have to be romantic. We're talking friends. We're talking about family, relationships on every level, your co-workers, your cousins. How can we engage with more love and intimacy? That doesn't have to be sexual by any means. It just has to, it encourages a softening. Which brings me back to the clitoral thing. How can we soften in our relationships? How can we be distinctly who we are, but channel that duality? How can we allow ourselves to be openings to the new frontier through how we engage in our relationships? And that is one thing that we can really get out of the Lovers. The Lovers reminds us that our intimacy with all folks, whether or not you're in a relationship with me, doesn't mean that I can't see your value, your importance. So that's one aspect of this. Another aspect. Sorry, I keep yawning. Another aspect of this that I find very interesting. We see the duality of these two folks and this very different look. How can we embrace our duality? How can we embrace the duality that others teach us? Because it's not always what we find on our own. Some of our close friends, relatives, can show us the duality that we might not be receptive to. For example, I have a really good friend here in Philly who is a Libra, actually, so very air and kind of similar. She is very moderate, and I am a little leftist, if I'm being frank. Because she's more of a centrist, I find it very interesting to argue my points because it makes me have to finagle the bagel, as it were, and really make my points strong and leveled because she is right down the center, very much there. So I use those conversations to help me push my ideology to understand a different point of view and to make sure that the points that I'm trying to make as a human being are valuable outside of people that just believe like me. So how can we learn from other folks to embrace duality and see things from a different perspective? Last one. This is a fawn. We see a little fawn, little pan friend, and this is the Lovers from Fantastical Creatures Tarot. We see two folks embracing in the soft sunlight just breaking through the trees in a sweet embrace. Again, go back to softening. How can we soften? How can we find refuge in our relationships and allow ourselves to be vulnerable? How can we allow ourselves to listen and just be present with folks that we love, that we care about, and we want to see flourish? And how can we be soft with even those that can be difficult for us? These are the powerful questions of Gemini season. These are some of the beautiful reflections from our card of the month, or well, card of the season, Gemini. Just some food for that. Anyway, friends, as always, I've got links down below to work with me, follow me. I'm Subnormal Child on Instagram. I have a Patreon if you want to support your girl. I have a Patreon where we meet monthly for a art ritual, art as nourishment. And then, of course, I have a shop and all that. But the links are down below. Thank you for stopping by and listening. I hope this was helpful. And have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye-bye.